Okay, welcome everyone to the Lunar New Year's transformational ceremony. I am so excited to be here. And we're just talking about some of the astrological energies. And really, even though it's been a little bit of a slow start because of some of these energies, you're right where you need to be. You are right where you need to be. Because since the winter solstice until now, we've had a full lunar cycle. And in that lunar cycle, we've gotten to become even more introspective. Even though we've had Mercury in retrograde and Mars in retrograde, it's actually just a period to slow down, to go more inward. And so just know, again, you are right where you need to be. Okay, so excited to be here and see all of your beautiful faces, some whom I have not seen in years. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And perhaps even just months. So good. So how many people here have ever made some resolutions and not really followed through with them? By the end of the year. Yeah, cheers. You are not alone. You are not alone. So the truth is that according to the US World News, it was reported in 2018 that 80% of New Year's resolutions fail by February. So great. And then a more recent study that I found showed that only 9% successfully keep their New Year's resolutions by the end of the year. And so I'm here to tell you that it is possible to keep your resolutions, and it really has to do with mindset and frequency. And I believe that a lot of people really go about it the wrong way. And I'm here to guide you, to help you understand what it is that you really want on an energetic level. Okay, so a little bit about me. I have a degree from Boston College in interpersonal communications and a postbac in psychology. And I've been a certified holistic empowerment coach, a yoga and meditation teacher, and a sound healer, extensively studying energy medicine and the science of habit change for over 10 years now. It's something that I'm really passionate about. Woo! Thanks. So what's way more important though is actually how I feel. I feel confident, I feel inspired and creatively expressive as a dancer and a singer and a channeler and a coach. So I've created this successful career with my intuitive gifts that allows me to live on my terms. And I can honestly say, I feel like I'm living my dreams, and that feels so good to share with you. And the truth is, it hasn't always been this way. I remember feeling really lost, craving a lighter body and really scrutinizing myself on not having the right career or not having the right body or not making enough money or making enough impact. And, this worrying mind was just like totally consuming me. And I knew I wanted to change, but I was honestly just like wasting my energy. And it was tiring, super tiring. And I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go in, but I knew I just had to kind of choose something. And the truth is, I was always asking for answers outside of myself. So I ended up in med school to become who I thought I was supposed to be. And most of my energy got really consumed by med school and this relationship I was in. And on weekends, we would go mountain biking. And he was a really nice guy, but to be honest, he wasn't really right for me. So we decided to go mountain biking on this adventure in British Columbia. And there I was on this beautiful sunny mountain in July. I was tired and overexhausted, which was kind of my mode, right? Like I was always pushing myself too far, over exercising and just numbing out because of that. And so anyway, we were there on this mountain, and I remember saying, hey, I need a break. And I could see this vision of these like flowing hills. Like I could hear myself and feel it. And I spoke up, and I could tell he really wanted to keep going. And even though I could have just made a different decision, I was so like enwrapped in this people pleasing mentality and doing things outside of myself that I decided not to listen to my inner wisdom. And I really wanted to like stay with him. And also I really wanted to prove myself. So that was my pattern. And instead of going down these like easeful flowing hills, I found myself coming down these jagged rocks and going way too fast and just really wanting it to be over. Honestly, I was like too relaxed because I was too tired. And so I caught way too much air. And hours later, I ended up in an ICU and my whole world was turned upside down. But it was, you know, the lessons came. But I had a broken neck. I had 5 broken ribs. My clavicle is a steel plate, and I had broken 7 vertebrae of my spine. And so my whole world was just turned upside down, along with TBI, a traumatic brain injury. So after 9 days of being in the hospital, I finally made it home and spent about 6 weeks staring up at the ceiling and meditating and being spoon-fed by my then boyfriend and my bestie. And they took turns caring for me, and I'm so grateful. And they would even sleep in the bed with me overnight because I couldn't get up by myself to even go to the bathroom. I couldn't drive a car or go grocery shopping and or even shower myself for 6 months. And in the doctor's words, I was literally lucky to be walking and to be alive. And so why am I telling you this, right? It's because I had to dedicate my life to recovery and rebuilding my mind and body, and slow down and be patient and listen to what really mattered, to relearn pretty much everything. And I had to ask for so much help and also learn how to receive, right? Not only on like a human level, but on a spiritual level. And I remember just having this like really dark night of the soul. My then boyfriend had broken up with me, and I was just at the bottom. I was like, I felt like I had nothing left. And I remember I was journaling in my neck brace and feeling, you know, just like questioning it all. Like I felt like I had nothing. And it was actually a full moon. There was snow outside. It was glowing. And I just kept asking this question, like, what does this mean? Like, what is this even for? Like, what is this life? And I remember asking, just please help me understand this, asking God, asking spirit, give me a sign. And in an instant, I saw this beautiful, incredible white crane flash before my eyes. And it was like the calming of the storm. It was this reassurance. And I knew it was telling me to trust in what I had been through, to trust in resilience, to not give up, and to have gratitude. And also to share the lessons that I had learned from rebuilding, not only my mind and my body, but also my soul, to share that. And so I'm so excited to share what I had learned from this whole experience. And I redesigned a lot of my previous meditation and yogic practices, and also physical therapy practices, to actually make it sacred, right? Like, that's the whole, it's all about mindset. It's all about frequency and how we're showing up. And so it's no wonder that a lot of people fall off on their resolutions, because the mindset isn't there. The mindset isn't there. So I'm so excited to guide you in these practices that actually create progress and gratitude, because it's all about gratitude. It's all about making it sacred. So without gratitude, it's like, what's the point? So take a deep breath with me, everyone here, so that we can open our hearts a little bit more and receive what it is that you want to manifest today, and perhaps what you've been thinking about and steeping in for the last 30 days since the winter solstice. So manifestation and habit change, again, it's all about frequency and believing deep down that you're worthy of what you want, right? And we all have, all right, well, I hope not, but most people have these blocks that keep them from really receiving what it is that they want because of our past. And so I like to take it on a revolutionary wavelength and actually honor that past versus like try to just like cut it out. I'm here to actually tell you to love everything you've been through and to honor everything you've been through. So if you have that fire starter and your candle, I'd like to invite you into honoring your past self, whatever you've been through, and particularly in 2022, by lighting a candle. And just take a moment before you light that candle and just like really feel the incredible journey you've been on. And know that you're going to be representing and honoring yourself with this flame. So take a moment, take a deep breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and light that candle. And just feel yourself. If it's available to you, go ahead and hold that candle. In your hands. And just watch the flame for a moment. And feel your past self in this flame. Dancing. And from your heart in through your palms, feel the love that you have for everything you've been through. What challenges did you face? What lessons are you grateful for? And just know you're right where you need to be in this moment. And just acknowledge, how are you feeling right now? I feel. How are you feeling? What was one of the most important things you learned about yourself this past year? And again, just take that in, take a deep breath, and let it go. An audible sigh. I love saying, thank you, universe, for showing me what I no longer want, so I can call in more of what I do. So what did you realize in 2022 and in this past month of reflection, perhaps? What you need to release? What are you ready to release? And feel free, if you are more of a journaler, you can put your candle down in front of you. Or if you just want to stay in the vibe, you can just keep holding that candle. But what do you need to release? Or what would you like to release? What do you still want to release today for 2023? So understanding resistance is understanding fear. And I love to remind people that fear is just a self-protection mechanism for survival. It's the wound that shows us what we still have to heal. And so it can be really important and helpful to understand what our flavor of resistance is. So this could look like procrastination, could look like blame. Shame is a form of hiding to keep us safe from other people's judgments. Resentment is a bitterness, which is a form of anger, which actually feels powerful, right? And these are all just self-protection mechanisms. There's nothing wrong with you. There's actually everything right with you. So this is a way to actually love up on your fear, love up on your old patterns. And oftentimes people have habits that are associated with avoidance or numbing behaviors. And so again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's that you're actually doing a great job of self-protecting in a certain way, an old way, but now that way may not be serving you anymore. But to speak up for yourself, to be seen and be heard is everything. It's everything. We all just want to be seen and heard, but we have to do that for ourselves first. So if any of you would like to claim and be heard and seen, and pop it in the chat what your biggest form of resistance has been for 2022 or before. Feel free to pop it in the chat. Or anything that you're just ready to let go of, claim it right here. Who wants to claim something? What are you ready to let go of? I know this is super vulnerable. Ashandra says overextending and overcompensating. Oh my goodness, so relatable. D. Martin says negative thinking. Yes, and we're actually going to be talking about that more today. So you're right where you need to be. Andrea says self-comparison and procrastinating. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else can relate? I know I can relate to that. Sammy says stretching myself too thin and trying to change things around me on the outside instead of going inward. Kelly says, don't know how to let go of catastrophizing over bills. Yeah, so just worrying mindset. Tara and Earl, procrastinating, hiding my light for the fear of judgment. Ooh, girl. We got some agreements there with Sammy's state of powerlessness and feeling like a victim of life circumstances. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to talk about that one as well. Playing small and doing things half-assed, people pleasing, not saying no. We're going to talk about that one too. Saying no makes space for saying yes. Yes, Phil. And then Matthew says, letting go of my will and embracing the collective will of all. Wow, that's so beautiful. So good. Thank you all for sharing. I know it's very vulnerable to share what we want to let go of. So just know that you're being heard. You're being heard. We got one more, releasing attachment to things, people, and social identities. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Ooh, thank you all so much for sharing. Okay, so I want you to hold that again, like maybe not necessarily literally with the candle, but you can if you want, and just see yourself in that, right? You are being heard by you first and foremost, and that is what's most important. So just hold that and take a deep breath in and repeat after me. I hear you and I see you. And there should be a sense of release in that. I hear you and I see you. And now I want to invite a few of the elements in, right? We're going to get a little witchy for a moment. Now, we've already offered up fire, and fire is an incredible transmuter, right? It's an alchemist. So I want you to literally place this candle in front of you and scoop up what it is that you want to release. Take a deep breath and I want you to offer it to the fire. We're going to get witchy for a moment, okay? So literally just another one, deep breath in. Feel what it is that you want to release. Know that you are powerful and offer it to the fire. And you can literally like shake out your hands into the fire and then shake out your arms and then shake out your hands into this candle. Calling on the alchemy of fire. Now, let us call in the alchemy of the earth. Another deep breath. And I want you to feel all this energy going through your body and down, like it's melting off of you and composting into the earth. And now another deep breath in, and I want you to give a little shake. If it feels good, you can stand up and shake. And again, feel this energy literally falling off of you. It can be coming out of you if you have a grounding cord practice. Another deep breath in and literally offer it to the earth. Offer it to the earth. Actually, you know what? We're all going to stand up. We're doing it. I'm going to put on some music for a moment. That's right. I know, new moon. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can hear this music. Okay. How's that? Another thumbs? Yes, okay. So feel what that is that you want to release. I want you to feel your feet grounded on the earth. You give little hops. And now bounce. Bouncing. And now start to shake. Shake it all off. You can make sounds here. And now bringing in the element of water. Let it wash over you. Bringing in the element of wind. Bring your arms out wide. Shake and let the wind take you. Dust off your wings. Movement brings transmutation. Keep shaking. off with the wind. Let the water wash over you. Shake it out to the earth. Offer whatever you are ready to release to the earth. And now coming into stillness. I want you to call out what that thing is that you're ready to let go on the count of 3. Shout it out to the world. 1, 2, 3. Release. Oh. Release. And bringing your hands to your heart. Honoring yourself for being heard. In this moment, you are heard. By us, everyone here, and most importantly, by yourself in this present moment. We have to believe. We have to believe that we are ready for change in order to create it. Feel it in your molecules. Feel that in your molecules. And now I'm going to ask you, what is it that you are envisioning for 2023? What would make 2023 the best version of you ever? The best year of your life. And let's not focus on those limitations. I want you to feel the freedom to dream big. And feel free to keep standing with those hands upon your heart. Or you can come to seated. And I'm just going to guide you through a short future self meditation. I want you to see your future self out in front of you. What do they look like? What clothes are they wearing? What expression is on their face? What do they smell like? I invite you to gaze into their eyes lovingly and with a full open heart now that you've created so much space in your being, in your molecules. What message do they have for you? And what's one word to help you remember? Nice deep breath in, everyone. Now take a moment with your journal and just free write anything that came through. Rewriting anything that comes through, messages from your higher self. And be sure to note what they feel like, what clothing they're wearing, how they smell, and what expression they have on their face, and anything else that comes through. What is their relationship to nature? I invite you to write this all in present tense. What is their relationship to money like? What's their vibe? What's their frequency? And if there was a word of how they feel, and how they want you to feel, what is that word? And now I want you to ask yourself, what will having this do for me? What will having this do for me? Is there a specific value that you can commit to that will help you bring you back to center if you were to ever come out? Perhaps it is that word, a vibration. Now I'm going to guide you through a few questions to get you clear on the relationship you have to self, mind, body, soul. When you feel this dream, what is the energy you value? What is the energy you want to live and grow by for your mind? Placing these in the chat. What is the energy you want to live and grow by? What does self-care of the mind feel like? What does it feel like? I want you to feel it in this moment. Take a deep breath in and feel that self-care of your mind. Feel yourself doing that a year from now, and what transformation it has caused for doing it for a full year. I want you to receive that in this moment. Now your relationship to body. How do you want to feel in your body? Free of conditioning. And why? Why do you want what you want? What does self-care of the body feel like a year from now? Now I want you to feel it. Feel it in your body. Feel that transformation of doing that consistently for a full year, what self-care of the body would feel like a year from now. I want you to let yourself receive. I'm laughing because Kelly just got a cramp. Cramp free for a full year. Can you imagine? Let yourself receive. free body. And now your soul. What does a full body yes feel like? That means alignment. What does alignment feel like for you on a soul level? On an intuitive level, knowing intuitively. What if you had all the intuition, all the trust? And what does your soul want to express creatively? What lights you up? And what if you could feel the light of your soul bursting through your body every day? Multiple times a day, all day. What would that feel like? What would a relationship so powerful to spirit feel like? What would trust in God feel like in your body? How would it feel to know you are a miracle? This life is a miracle. How would that feel on the daily? What would you do? What would feel fun? What would light you up? Now, what does self-care of the soul look like to you? What does it feel like? Maybe it's a daily practice. Maybe it's a certain healing work, a therapy you've wanted to go to for a while. Looking at you, Spencer. What if it was that retreat that you always wanted to go on? That Tantra retreat. What if it was that strength training program you always wanted to do? What if it was that walk in nature you always wanted to take? Or maybe getting strong enough to go backpack to the top of a mountain. What are the deeper whispers that are coming up to the surface? And how would it look to bring more of a spiritual growth to your career, to your business? And what would that do to your relationship to money? Now, what would make this inevitable? Inevitable. And if you could narrow it down and simplify it to one word, remember that one word that your higher self told you. What is that word? To recommit and remind yourself of the vibration, the frequency that you already are. Your higher self is you. You are that. These answers are coming from your mind, body, and soul. You're just willing to hear them. So what is that frequency? To help you commit to make this inevitable. Deep breath. Now, what needs to change? What's the shift? What's the pattern? What's the flavor of resistance? Make it as specific as possible. Is there a system that needs to be shifted? A thought, a habit, a pattern. Get real. Get as real as you can right now. Put it all out there. What would hold you back? And really, again, remember this is frequency. What's the frequency that would hold you back? When we can see it as a frequency, we have the ability to love it that much more. That frequency, that thing that's holding you back, is a self-protection mechanism.
Girlfriend, can you give an example of a frequency? Like, you mean like fear, being judged, like that sort of thing?
Yeah, a great one for me when I did this for myself was resentment.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Blame. Getting caught in the victimization pattern, which again, I'm sure we've all felt like a victim here before, right? Like this is a natural human thing. And when we can see it not as a victim loop, but as a self-protection loop, we realize that we're doing it because we're protecting ourselves, right? There's a reason. And when we recognize that, we realize like, you're not broken. You're far from broken. You're actually right where you need to be. And now you're willing to see the change, the higher perspective, to shift, to make that shift as a more present mind, body, and soul. And just know you don't need to have it all figured out, and that you're right where you need to be in this moment. So take a deep, deep breath. Take a few more moments to write down what you're feeling in this moment. Ah. And if there's any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself or pop it in the chat. I'm going to start going into talking about habit change and how to actually help leverage this energy and help leverage the ceremony that we've created. So take another 30 seconds or so. finish writing down some key points, knowing that you can always come back to it. Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. So I'd love to talk a little bit about habit change and really what that means, right? To me, habit change is a series of pattern interrupting. We have a habit, it's ingrained into us. Again, there's nothing wrong with you, right? Everything is right with you. And so habit change is essentially creating a new stimulus to create a pattern, right? We need to reprogram some hardwiring that's already in here in our minds. And sometimes, that energy gets stuck in our bodies. That's why we shook and invited all the elements in, right? So know that you have that capability to clear the energy at any moment. And really all that takes is a deep breath. Now, the deep breath is so important because what's happening is it's actually bringing us from our sympathetic nervous system, which is more of that fight or flight, and into a parasympathetic nervous system. So the most important key that I can give you in my personal experience is being the witness. And that's what all of you are doing right here, right now, through this journaling, through this ceremony. When we can recognize, and in that instant, I call that the divine catalyst. It's that holy moment where we recognize we are out of the frequency of what we want and what we are dedicated to and what we are committed to, right? That frequency that your higher self told you, right? For me, I'm committed to the frequency of love. Am I always in love? No, the truth is no, I'm not perfect. However, I can take a deep breath when I recognize, right? We have to be willing to recognize when we're out and take a deep breath and retune. It's like tuning a guitar string. The more we do this in the pattern interrupting, the more we can come into center more quickly. It's called closing the gap. So give me a thumbs up if this is landing and if this makes sense. Thumbs up all around. Any questions so far? Awesome. So the divine catalyst, being the witness, recognizing the thought pattern, right? So perhaps we're in a victim mentality, self-protection loop. We just take a deep breath when we recognize that. Okay. And notice, okay, I'm in a self-protection loop right now. Wow. Okay. Now, in that moment, what is it that you actually need, right? It might be space, which is a flight, right? Maybe it is space. But to recognize, how can I come back into the vibration of the frequency that I want, right? This becomes a self-nurturing technique, which is actually a self-accountability loop versus a self-protection loop. You guys picking up what I'm laying down? Awesome. So number one thing in the pattern interrupt and habit change is being the witness, that divine catalyst. This is a belief in knowing that you are actually worthy of receiving the frequency, which brings this element of gratitude. Awesome. Okay, now, this is a quote I got from Healthline. It can take anywhere from 18 days to 254 days for a person to form a new habit. The average is 66 days to form a new habit or behavior to become automatic, sorry. And it really is true that practice makes progress. We're not here for perfection, right? So we can just relax a little bit, but we are here for progress. So that means taking imperfect daily action and perhaps doing it over and over again. When I was healing from my broken back, you better believe I had to show up every day. And that meant like lifting my arm a few inches. That was my progress. So it can be really small, honestly, but that's where I was at. We have to recognize where we're at, right? For me, it was just moving a few inches to the left and doing it like over and over again. I've heard a physical therapist tell me that you have to correct your posture about 100 times a day to actually make it a pattern in your wiring system. So just know that even doing it like a few times a day, you're making progress, right? It takes out the shame. So the best way I have found, and I know some of you can agree who are on here, to make it, to set yourself up for success is to make it daily with a morning routine. Show of hands if you have a morning routine right now. Sweet. We got some morning routiners, and then we've got some like ladies, and then we have some like, and that's okay. But I do suggest creating some sort of dedication. Now, if you are someone who likes inconsistency, like moi, just know that you can have some structure. First of all, structure creates freedom. It's just the truth. But you can have a menu of options because sometimes we actually like to mix it up a little bit, right? But just know what you're actually dedicated to on the frequency level. And so I like to have a menu. I have 3 things that I want to do in my morning routine, but I don't always get to all of them, right? But I will absolutely at least get to 1 or 2. Sometimes I want like 5 things in my morning routine. Can y'all relate? I'm like dance party, meditation, my strength training program, my physical therapy, my cacao ceremony. No, okay. So yeah, yeah. So I want you to just think about a meditation, a movement, and some type of creative outlet. So meditation, the mind, movement for the body, and a creative outlet for the soul. And oftentimes these things, of course, will hit mind, body, and soul. And they all come together. But right now in your journal, just think, mind, what am I going to do for my mind in the morning, my body in the morning, and my soul? And now if you're like me, I like to have like a bunch of things, right? So you're welcome to make a few different things. Like maybe it's the weight training, maybe it's the morning walk, maybe it's a 2 to 5 minute dance party, right? But I want you to have a little menu for you to choose from. So you're like creating your own menu. And now I want you to think like, what is actually going to help me get to my goal? And what will actually rejuvenate my energy? And how can I make it fun? Now I'm going to talk about evening routine. I actually love to have a little evening routine as well, where I have a little gratitude practice and have a spiritual practice. For me, my spiritual practice is reading an oracle card before I go to bed. It makes me feel in the frequency of love and trust. I also like doing a free write, a brain dump. And in that brain dump, I write down 3 things that would help me for my personal development goal for the next day. What are 3 things that I could do for tomorrow that will help me in my personal development? And then what are 3 things that will help me in my purpose goals? For me, that's with my business. So I want you to claim those things right now. 3 things that will help me achieve my goals. And if there's different categories, you can claim 3 for each. A good way of looking at these practices too is creating more flow. And that means there actually has to be like a 5% challenge involved, 5 to 15%. If it's more challenging than 15%, chances are it's going to be a lot harder to get there, a lot harder to show up for it. So that's how we create some flow. What's something that you can choose that's something that just is like a no-brainer that you want to do and you want to show up and it's fun for you to show up to, that will bring you into a flow state. So I know you all are still writing. I just want to make sure we get a bunch of these hot tips in. I want to take a moment to talk about boundaries. Ooh, I got some big eyes on that. Boundaries. Boundaries start first thing in the morning, you guys, you ladies, you people, you beauties, you souls, first thing in the morning. So I want you to just call yourself out, right? Like, what's going to hinder me from getting these things, boundaries, so that we can be response able versus reactive, so that we can be strategic and leverage our energy, our precious miracle energy, versus reactive, right? So you all know where I'm going with this. Do you check your phone first thing in the morning? Yeah, I know, me too. I do it all the time. Now, here's the thing. Why do you check your phone? Are you looking immediately at like who's texted you and then you're like responding to people? Are you using your phone to listen to some meditation music or get on your meditation app, right? Be real. Like, why? Are you using your phone to respond? This is actually normal because our cortisol levels are what wake us up. So it's natural for us to want a little bit more cortisol, to be reactive, to actually wake up. But what if getting a hot beverage would actually wake you up a little bit more and keep you nice and calm for your sacred morning routine, your sacred daily practice? Boundaries. Are you checking your email first thing in the morning? We want to live by intention, not by impulse and interruptions, especially first thing in the morning. This is actually going to create discipline. And then you can revisit those 3 things from the night before, right? Oh yeah, those 3 things. I wrote down I'm supposed to meditate first thing in the morning. So you know what? I'm going to dedicate myself, the miracle that I am, and my precious energy to meditating first thing in the morning. Okay. So it's also really helpful, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? To crowd out. We crowd out and incorporate more of what we do want, what we do crave. So if you're craving more peacefulness and balance, meditating or doing an inward practice in the morning or taking a walk by yourself and just being silent is much more peaceful than checking your emails and your texts, right? So we got to be dedicated to this frequency that we actually want. So how can you crowd out? How can you create a new habit to replace the old one? To give you another example, if the goal is to have more energy so that you can hit the weights the next morning, we need to have boundaries around screens at night, right? We got to have boundaries around our screens at night. And a new stimulus might be reading oracle cards, like I mentioned before, or reading a book, or lighting a candle, or journaling about some important things that happened in that day, or just a brain dump, right? But if you want to have more energy, you got to get more sleep, right? You got to be willing to crowd out what's not serving your energy. And I know a big thing about resolutions has to do with, mindful eating habits. So I just wanted to throw one of those out here too. Let's say every time you get into the car, you want a snack, even though you're not hungry. The first thing is to recognize, okay, I'm actually not hungry. This is just a pattern. It might be, I'm not hungry. I'm just uncomfortable, or I'm not hungry, I'm just bored, or I'm not hungry, but this is just a pattern. And so a new stimulus, let's say for the car example, would be, instead of reaching for a snack, to pop on some music and start singing. And you can even like do some fun things with your hands, because a lot of times we need to do something with our hands, or maybe it's like making the steering wheel a drum set. So how can you create a new stimulus? And how can it be the most simple possible? Ooh, I love that. Kelly says, crochet. Okay, I want to give you a few more hot tips. I know we only have like 6 minutes left. So audio and visual cues are going to be your biggest friend. We are creatures of audio and visual habit. So a great way to keep yourself accountable is to make it easy for yourself by, let's say if it's something like you want to get walking every morning, you got to put your shoes where you can see them, or whatever you're going to wear where you can see it. And the brighter the colors, the better. But make it easy. Make it easy on yourself. Set yourself up for success. I really like lists where I can like check things off. That's why I love making the lists the night before, or those 3 things for my personal growth and the 3 things that I need to do for my business. And I've also really had a lot of success making charts. So, you know, if you're in the Damn Strong program with Sammy, you can make charts. Or like for me, when I was doing my physical therapy, I would literally like write every single exercise and make a chart. And so I could keep check mark it if I did it that day. So I could keep track of what I was doing. Is that making sense? Okay. So what's a way that you can keep track of yourself? What's an audio or visual cue? And I'm going to give you one more of my favorites. Whatever it is, or sorry, if you have an affirmation, right? That word that you want to remember, or a statement that you want to remember, like a mantra that's going to get you, let's say, out of bed and making progress. I want you to, after this ceremony, I want you to write it out and tape it to your ceiling above your bed. I swear this works. For me, I would write out, and I do this with my clients, a mission statement. And then I taped it to my ceiling. And so every morning I would read that mission statement, and it was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do in the world. So I'm going to get my booty out of bed. And then other times it's like, I know that's my mission and I know I need a little more rest, and I'm going to stay in my rest zone because I'm committed to love. And that's my frequency that I'm committed to. So of course there's some leeway, there's some play here. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for listening. We're looking for progress. Okay. So just feeling into what structure, what cue is going to be helpful for you. What movement will be helpful in attaining your goal? Visual cue, audio cue. Can also be a sound on your phone to remind you of the frequency that you want to create and cultivate. And so creating and knowing that these structures create the freedom that we want is so helpful, because it allows us the simplicity to align with the vibration that we want, and helps us know that we're listening to ourselves and our future self and commit daily to what we actually want. The right support is super key to hold you accountable. So if you have the ability to get an accountability buddy, maybe it's a partner, a bestie, a coworker, someone in the same training program, accountability buddies do wonders, because we are creatures that want to belong. And when we have each other, it really, I know there's this saying like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? It really does create that frequency. And maybe it's asking that person like, hey, I might need a little kick in the booty, or a reminder of why I'm doing this. So speak up and ask for support. Always allow yourself to speak up and ask for support if you should be needing that. So who's one person that you can think of that you can reach out to be an accountability buddy? Or just to have a check-in with, maybe it's like once a month. And as a gift from me to you, I want to offer you all a clarity breakthrough session with me. It's a 30-minute session to really help you get clear on what your goals are. And I want to help you create a little mini plan. And we can go over what you did today and just gain any more extra clarity that you want. So if you're wanting that, I'll pop this in the chat. I opened up about 9 spots next week. Let's see, hopefully it'll work. So feel free to reach out for support. Feel free to reach out to me. If you want some extra support to get clearer for 2023. And I'd love to know what everyone's biggest takeaway is from today. I know we're just at 1:30. If you wanted to share what your biggest takeaway is, feel free to pop it in the chat, or to unmute yourself too. What's your biggest takeaway from today? Spencer says, inspiration. Awesome. Kelly says, it's a mind, body, soul situation. That is right. What else? Who had some big takeaways from today? I know we covered a lot. There's going to be some processing involved. Sammy has some super new excitement for 2023. Biggest takeaways, or what you're claiming for the 2023. Would also invite you all to mention that word, that frequency that you're really going to dedicate yourself to each and every day to make this inevitable for you. Spencer says, slowing down, changing my focus from the short term to the big picture. Love that. Denise says, commitment is gold. Absolutely. Sammy says, listening for that full body yes this year. Absolutely. Tara says, got clear on my flavor of resistance. You're welcome. And brainstormed clear morning routine to support me. That's awesome. And know the message I am putting above my bed as a gentle reminder. I love that. And I would love to connect with you on this morning routine if you're wanting any extra support, sister. Phil says, future me is amazing. Okay, present you is also amazing, Phil. But yeah, future you, oh my God. Tap into that inner wisdom and listen in and trust. Yes, trust is everything. Matthew says, Matthew direct messaged me. Can I read it to the group?
Whoops. Yeah, I meant to be public with that.
Do you want to just say it since you're unmuted?
Sure. I just appreciated this time. So I said more time like this to pause, reflect, ask, wait, listen, receive, realign, act, and repeat. Juicy stuff.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. So love it. Thank you for sharing and for sharing your voice. Earl says, holding myself accountable and my world is limitless. Ooh, I love that word. Amen. Discipline, morning habit change for more simple, easeful, peaceful future self. Christina. Thank you, Christina, for being here. It's so lovely to see you again when you have your camera on and just to feel your vibe in here. I absolutely love your presence. There she is. Mwah. And D. Martin says, allowing time for myself and not feeling selfish for doing it. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thank you for speaking that truth. It's so true. And that's where like the boundaries of feeling like the people pleaser shifts into a more compassionate self. And I wanted to mention one more thing on that. I just listened to this podcast with Brene Brown, and she found actually that the most compassionate beings on the planet, from her research, showed that the one common thing, the only one common thing that the most compassionate beings on the planet had were actually, and I quote, boundaries of steel. Because they knew what was okay and what was not okay in their field. And to me, that means not taking things so personally, but being willing to show up in the ways that we can, aligned with that frequency that we dedicated ourselves today to. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thank you, D. Martin. Okay, and one more. Andrea says, sticking to my morning habits, even when I am not sleeping at my home. Yes, they really do help and set up the day for calm and clarity. Amen. I feel that big time too, as I am definitely a traveler. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for staying on just a few minutes after. I just wanted to do a quick close in just honoring everything that you have been through today and just honoring yourself. So just take a moment to close your eyes, take a deep breath, arrive in this space one more time. We're going to close the container. Deep breath, audible exhale, letting it all integrate. And bringing your hands to your heart in which way feels best for you. Thank you, spirits and guides of the highest truth and compassion. Thank you, future self, for being with us today. I honor you. Thank you, present self, for showing up, and for honoring past self with more love and nurturing than perhaps before. Thank you for honoring mind, body, and soul here with me today, so that you may dedicate yourself to the frequency for actual shifts and what you want. Thank you for opening a little bit more to the possibilities and knowing that you are worthy of receiving everything that you dream of. May all beings awaken to their truest potential. Taking a deep breath in once again. And just gently rubbing the heart, letting all those seeds that you are planting root down so that they may burst forth in the springtime. Keep at it, keep dedicating yourself. Again, if you have any questions or if you want to connect, I'll pop my scheduler in here one more time. And just know I'm here for you. And I can't wait to connect. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you soon. I'm doing a virtual sound healing next week. So you'll hear from me about that. Yeah. Okay. Much love, everyone. Mwah. Take care. Happy Lunar New Year's. Love you too.
Bye.
You done?
Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Love you all.
Right.